Discover the incredible, touching journey of Atlantis. A heartwarming, life-changing revelation. Young Emma Greene stepped out of school, the sound of laughter and chatter fading behind her, replaced by the haunting echoes of disapproving whispers. As she walked past the old diner, memories of her father filled her mind. Once, he laughed with neighbors, shared stories over coffee, and embodied the spirit of Oak Ridge. Now, every glance held an unspoken judgment. A local veteran, he had faced battles tougher than any war, but the scars he carried whispered tales of hardship. The burden of economic struggle hung over the Greene family like a storm cloud, darkening their once bright lives. Clutching her books, Emma gazed at the dilapidated community theater on the corner, its faded marquee whispering of a vibrant past. Inspiration struck her like lightning. What if I could bring this back? A talent show could spotlight the remarkable gifts hidden in Oak Ridge. As she imagined the stage alive with voices that once resonated through its walls, a flicker of hope ignited in her chest. With purpose, Emma shared her vision with classmates, determined to breathe new life into their community. But as she rallied support, she faced an onslaught of resistance. The town, though small and picturesque, was not immune to rivalry. A powerful family, clinging to their fading status, mocked her with barbed comments, sowing seeds of division. What does she think she can do? They sneered, spreading rumors that twisted into tangled roots of discontent. The whispers stung, igniting a flame of indignation within Emma. She wanted to prove that the Greenes had not lost their worth, that like her father, they could rise again. Just as despair threatened to encroach, nature unleashed chaos upon Oak Ridge. The skies darkened, and torrents of rain transformed familiar streets into raging rivers. Panic ensued. Doors that once stood shut now swung open as neighbors rushed to help one another. Emma found herself at the forefront, distributing supplies and offering warm words of encouragement. Strengthened by the shared struggle, the community shed its prejudices in the flood's wake that in the storm's aftermath. The town stood altered, but so too did its spirit. Emma couldn't shake the weight of uncertainty. Had the bonds formed in crisis run deep enough to last? The crowd gathered in what remained of the theater, hopeful yet hesitant. The mingled faces reflected etched lines of hardship, but in Emma's heart a yearning flickered. A need for connection, a realization that they could craft their narrative anew together. Suddenly, from the thrumming silence, a figure stepped forward, one Emma recognized from the rival group. Bated breath hung in the air, as anticipation coiled like a spring. This isn't just her dream, they said, voice steady yet vulnerable. This is our chance. Emma's heart raced. Could this be the tipping point she had desired? As chatter filled the room, the glow of unity danced in the corners of the recently battered theater. Here, amid renewed hope and uncertain futures, awaited the possibility that they could break away from the shadows of the past. The future felt teetering yet pregnant with possibility. This was just the beginning. The atmosphere buzzed with tentative excitement. Emma felt a warmth spreading through her chest as she looked around the room, seeing both familiar and new faces. It was a moment of transformation, electric and raw. They were on the brink of something big, something that could lift them all from their despair. What do we do next? Someone shouted from the back. It was a girl Emma hadn't spoken to much before, with bright eyes and an adventurous spirit. Her enthusiasm seemed to spark a fire in others. Emma cleared her throat, her mind racing. We organize. We need to set a date, find a way to raise funds, and get everyone involved. This isn't just about a talent show, it's about bringing us together. The crowd buzzed with chatter, plans flying back and forth like confetti. Ideas for acts were tossed around: singing, dancing, poetry readings. Emma's heart swelled as she saw classmates who had once kept to themselves now eagerly huddled together, fueled by the thought of creating something beautiful. But just as the idea took flight, a voice cut through the excitement. You really think this is gonna work? It was Amy, the rival leader, darkening the mood with a frown. You think a show is enough to fix everything? You can't just wave a magic wand and make the town come together. Emma felt the wind knock out of her sails. Doubt crept in, gnawing at the hopeful spark that had ignited moments before. It's not just about the show, Emma replied, her voice wavering. It's about proving we can support each other. It's about putting aside our differences. Amy crossed her arms. You can't erase years of judgment and rivalry with a talent show. People one tea change overnight. An uneasy silence wrapped around them. Emma's heart raced, the fire within flickering. What if Amy was right? What if this was all futile? Emma. A soft voice at her side broke through her thoughts. It was Zach, a boy known for his contagious laughter. You've brought us together already. If we can do this, we can do anything. Let us just give it a shot. His words ignited another spark. Other classmates began to voice their own support. Yeah. We can try. And let us show everyone what we can do, echoed around the room. If they put their hearts into it, maybe they could change the narrative. Motivated by encouragement, Emma felt a fire surge back to life. Okay, she said, her tone resolute. We'll make it happen. Let us hold auditions, start writing skits, and ask local businesses to help. I know we can pull this off. As she spoke, momentum built. The crowd began to buzz again. A symphony of ideas weaving its way toward hope. They were a tapestry of color and sound, mending their differences one thread at a time. When the meeting ended, Emma stepped outside into the cool evening air, her heart lighter. The first step had been taken. She felt a connection forming with her community, like threads weaving into a strong fabric. Then, she spotted her father struggling with the groceries, and a wave of warmth rushed over her. She rushed over, embracing him tightly. Dad, we're starting a talent show. It's going to be amazing. His weary smile brightened her spirits. I knew you'd find a way, Emma. As they carried the bags together, her father's belief in her surged deep within. It was a promise that resonated with each step they took on that cracked sidewalk. But in the back of Emma's mind lingered the question, could they hold on to this unity when they faced the challenges ahead? Just as hope began to blossom, they would have to confront doubts, fears, and Amy's harsh words echoing in her ears. What would it take to build a bridge that truly connected the fractured pieces of Oak Ridge? Emma breathed deeply, her spirit ready to face whatever came next. The next chapter awaited them, one where real transformation had to happen not just on stage, but in each heart of the community. Would they be able to rise together? The following days flew by in a whirlwind of planning and excitement. Emma was up before the sun, brainstorming with Zach and a few others in her living room, turning the space into a mini hub of creativity. They covered every surface with colored paper, pens, and snacks as they flung ideas back and forth. Laughter mixed with the anxiety that came with trying to pull this off. Okay, what about a group dance routine? Zach suggested, his eyes lighting up. Something everyone can learn. Love it. But it has to be something simple, Emma replied, her mind already racing at the thought of bringing people together on stage. What if we include something for everyone? A talent spectrum. Another girl chimed in, her enthusiasm contagious. Emma nodded. Yes. Singers, dancers, actors, artists, everyone can have their spotlight. But every cheerful interaction came with a reminder of the shadows lurking in the background. Amy's skeptical words echoed loudly in Emma's mind. You think a show is enough to fix everything? The worry gnawed at her, like a slow leak in a dam. Later that week, they organized the auditions. The buzz around school was electric. Posters covered the walls, and for the first time in what felt like ages, voices of encouragement and excitement drowned out the whispers of doubt. Emma couldn't help but smile as she walked through the halls, watching students from different cliques gather in the corridors, sharing ideas and spontaneous performances. On the day of auditions, Emma stood at the front of the room, feeling the weight of the moment. The gymnasium was filled with a hodgepodge of students, some anxious, others brimming with excitement. As the first student stepped up to sing, a hush fell over the crowd. It was a powerful moment when a chorus of voices came together, blending into something beautiful. That was it. That's what Emma had dreamed of. But then, the moment was broken. It was Amy again, leaning in the doorway with a raised eyebrow and arms crossed, her presence sucking some air out of the room. Emma's heart sank. Why was she here? Shouldn't you be practicing something else? Amy called out, her tone dripping with sarcasm. The joy of the moment faded, replaced by a cloud of tension. Students shifted uncomfortably. Emma felt their collective mood dip. "We're just trying to have fun." "Amy," Zach shot back, his voice steady. "You might be surprised by what happens when people work together." For a moment, Emma thought Amy would push harder, but she simply shrugged, a flicker of uncertainty crossing her face. "Good luck with that," she muttered, leaving the room. The auditions continued, but the shadow of doubt had crept back in. Emma felt the smiles fade, faces turning from eager to uncertain. She had hoped this project would unify them, but what if it only stirred the pot more? After the auditions, Emma gathered with the team to discuss their next steps. "We did great," Zach said, trying to uplift the mood. "We got talented people willing to share their gifts." "But Amy's right too, isn't she?" Emma replied. "What if this isn't enough? What if we just end up disappointing everyone?" "Then we'll try harder," Zach said, determination in his eyes. "We have to show them what we can accomplish together." Emma took a deep breath. Maybe this was the real challenge, to believe in this journey despite the obstacles. As she left the meeting, her chest felt heavy, but a small glimmer of hope remained. If they could navigate this as a community, there might just be a way to build that bridge Amy had demolished with her comments. But the bigger question loomed. What would happen when the show approached? Would doubt win out, or would a community emerge stronger than it had been before? They needed to not only showcase talent but also the resilience to build lasting ties. Emma stepped outside as the golden sunset painted the sky. This was just the beginning. And in that heart-stirring moment, she realized something, and it scared her. What if the talent show didn't just define them, but also revealed deeper truths they weren't yet ready to confront? The next few days crept by slowly, the air thick with anticipation. With auditions completed, Emma's mind raced through the possibilities of what the upcoming talent show might bring. She gathered with Zach and the others nightly, trying to keep the energy high, but Amy's earlier words continued to circle like a storm cloud overhead. They met again after school to watch videos of successful productions and establish their rehearsal schedule. Laughter filled the room, but it felt vaguely muted. Emma fiddled with her pen, distracted. "What if we put an open mic segment in the show?" she suggested, attempting to spark enthusiasm. "Give anyone the chance to share a story or yeah. But what if nobody wants to?" One team member hesitantly replied. Emma felt a sting of frustration and disappointment. How could she instill confidence if they doubted even the smallest idea? "Listen, everyone has something to share," Zach cut in, leaning forward, his eyes full of fire. "We just need to create an environment where they feel safe doing it. This is about connection. It's about community." Emma watched Zach's passion radiate around the room, stirring some muted nods and smiles. Perhaps he was right. The show was not just an opportunity to showcase talent but a platform for vulnerability. Excitement began to bubble again, even if the shadows lingered as rehearsals began. Students showed up, carrying dreams and anxieties on their shoulders. Emma stood at the front, energy high, guiding them with affirmative words. The first time they practiced the group dance, giggles erupted with every misstep and almost choreographed disaster. Emma couldn't help but laugh, feeling the weight of doubt lighten with each shared moment. But, as the last notes of the song faded after a long rehearsal, tension returned. A few students exchanged hesitant glances, a twinge of fear hanging in the air. "What if we fail?" someone quietly asked, their anxiety unspoken until now. Emma felt her heart twist. How could she assure them? "This isn't about perfection," she managed, her voice steady but tinged with uncertainty. "It's about being brave enough to share who we are. We're in this together." Some smiled and nodded, but she could see the doubt still flickering. Scared her. Could unity really emerge from this? Maybe more than a talent show was at stake. That evening, Emma found herself lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. It was just a show, yet she felt like it held the power to change everything. As the clock ticked, memories of the unease lingered around her like an uninvited guest. Would they actually come together? Would this reveal something deeper that they weren't ready for? The next day, Amy's presence returned to their rehearsals, a shadow in the background. She watched, arms crossed, as they struggled through another round. Emma caught her gaze, and for a moment, she could see a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. "Do you really think this is going to work?" Amy called out, breaking the rhythm. "This is just a distraction for you all." The room went silent, and Emma's heart sank. In that moment, it wasn't her anger that flooded her, but a wave of longing. She realized they needed Amy whether she wanted to admit it or not. They were all in the same school, breathing the same air, fighting the same shadows. There had to be a way to connect. "Why don't you join us?" Emma suggested, her voice trembling yet hopeful. "Help us make this better. You might be surprised by what you can do." The silence stretched as Amy blinked in surprise, arms slowly dropping to her sides. Emma held her breath. Would she refuse, dismissing them again? But as Amy opened her mouth to respond, Emma's heart raced, anticipation hanging in the air like mist. What could she possibly say? Could this be the turning point they all needed? The pause felt like an eternity. Emma could see the conflict in Amy's eyes, uncertainty battling with curiosity. The reaction of the room was palpable, hushed whispers and hopeful glances passing between the group as if they all held their breath, waiting for the verdict. Finally, Amy's chin lifted slightly. "I don't know if I can do anything," she admitted, her voice shaky. "But maybe I want to try." A flicker of something vulnerable passed over her face, and Emma could feel that it was a significant moment, one that could shift everything. Encouraged, Emma stepped closer. "That's all we're asking. Just try. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be you." As they resumed rehearsal, the atmosphere felt charged. Emma caught Zach's grin from across the room. Maybe this was the spark they needed. Days drifted into a blur of rehearsals, laughter, and the occasional tear. The team began to form bonds stronger than before. Amy gradually warmed up, surprising them all with her incredible storytelling during the open mic practices. The walls she had built were starting to crumble, and she shared tales that left everyone in rapt attention. One evening, as twilight painted the sky with shades of purple and orange, Emma sat quietly on the steps of the school. The sounds of their practice floated around her like a warm embrace. She watched her friends dive into their musical numbers, giving their all. Yet, there was still an undercurrent of fear. The thought of failure gripped her heart again. Would they all truly pull this off? "Hey," Zach said softly, joining her on the steps, his gaze fixed on the group. "What's on your mind?" Emma sighed, feeling the weight of unspoken worries. What if it all falls apart? What if they laugh or they won tea? Zach interrupted gently, his conviction steady. "You're creating a space that celebrates everyone. They will embrace each other, and they'll be proud to stand together. You're the reason they're here." The sincerity in his eyes warmed her. Emma understood that it wasn't just about the talent show anymore. It had transformed into something deeper, a festival of connection and resilience. In the final week of rehearsal, anticipation rippled through the air as they set up the stage. Colorful lights twinkled, and the excitement was almost tangible. Emma made her rounds, checking in on everyone. But still, doubt nibbled at the edges of her optimism. On the morning of the show, Emma stood at the venue entrance, a bundle of nerves and excitement. Students streamed in, and she could see the mix of anxiety and eagerness in their eyes. As the audience filled up, the backstage hosted a whirlwind of emotions. Shaky breaths and whispered encouragements. Emma took a moment to breathe deeply, feeling the weight of her own expectations mix with the energy from her teammates. When the lights dimmed, and the first act took center stage, Emma closed her eyes for a moment. She hoped. She envisioned them shining together under the spotlight. All fears wiped away as the first notes resonated through the hall. She knew they were crossing a threshold. They were no longer just students. They were a family, creating a bond that would last far beyond this night. But as laughter mingled with applause, Emma's gaze drifted back to Amy. Would this moment set her free, too? Would they all celebrate who they had become? She would soon find out. As the final act approached, a hidden truth hovered on the edge of revelation. just waiting to unfold. What would they discover about themselves and each other tonight? As the spotlight flickered, casting warm beams across the stage, the atmosphere crackled with a mix of nerves and excitement. Emma felt a swell of pride for her teammates, for Amy, and for everything they had built together. Tonight wasn't just about the performances. It was about every single person who had dared to take the stage and share a piece of their soul. The first act, a duo singing a heartfelt ballad, filled the venue with sweet harmonies. Emma watched the audience sway, caught up in the magic of the moment. As their voices blended, she could see her friends in the front row, eyes closed, swaying with joy. It was contagious, the way they could lose themselves in music. When the act ended, applause erupted like a burst of sunshine. Each hand clap resonated deep within Emma, reinforcing her belief in what they were doing. She needed to remember this feeling, the unity, the support. Then it was Amy's turn. The transition felt like a heartbeat. Emma's throat tightened with anticipation. She couldn't tell if it was the hope for Amy to shine or the fear of the unknown that caused the flutter in her stomach. Shining in her bright, purple dress, Amy stepped onto the stage. Her nervous energy was palpable, yet in her eyes, there was a flicker of determination. Emma held her breath. Hi everyone, Amy started, her voice soft but steady. I want to share a story tonight, one that kept me hidden for a long time. The audience leaned in, curiosity piqued. There was something beautifully raw and genuine about her presence. Emma couldn't help but smile, seeing the transformation unfold as Amy spoke. Her words painted vivid pictures of her struggles with confidence, her battles with self-doubt. Emma felt each word as if it resonated with her own journey. When she spoke of the moment she decided to join this group, the way it helped her find a family, Emma's heart swelled with pride. She cringed at the thought of how close Amy was to backing out, of how much had hinged on this choice. But here she was, sharing herself openly. For the first time, Amy's gaze reached into the audience, connecting with classmates and friends, her vulnerability transforming into strength. The applause that followed was thunderous. Emma could see the surprise and admiration written on her peers' faces, and tears of pride welled in her own eyes. In that moment, Amy took a step closer to freedom. As the show continued, one act after another brought laughter, tears, and heartfelt connections. Emma felt the lightness of her worries lift, replaced with pure joy. They were celebrating together, embracing the beautiful messiness of who they were. But deep down, the question nagged at her: had they really reached the end of this journey? Or was there more in store? As she communicated through nervous energy with Zach and the others, she couldn't shake a feeling lingering in the air. Finally, it came to the last act, and as they took their places, Emma noticed a soft voice from backstage cutting through the excitement. It was Amy, whispering something to Zach. He nodded slowly, concern flashing across his face. Emma's heart dropped momentarily. Had she missed something? What if there was another surprise hidden in tonight's tapestry, waiting to unravel? Emma felt the tension rise. This moment felt pivotal. Their journey towards knowing each other wasn't over yet. What was Amy whispering in Zach's ear? And what was she preparing to confront next? The answers hung just out of reach, waiting for that final note to pull everything together. The crowd murmured softly, anticipation electrifying the air. Emma's eyes darted between the stage and backstage. What was going on in the shadows? She couldn't shake the unease brewing in her stomach as she saw Zach lean in closer to Amy, his brow furrowed with concern. The final act was about to begin. Yet this moment felt heavier, almost as if time had slowed. Emma caught glimpses of her friends in the audience, their expressions a blend of excitement and curiosity. She felt their eyes on her too, waiting for something, an answer, a direction, a sign. With a deep breath, Amy stepped away from Zach. For a second, she looked lost, searching for the right words. Emma's heart raced. Something important was unfolding. She could feel it in her bones. What had Amy shared? Then, the spotlight washed over Amy as she walked back onto the stage once more. The last performance was just moments away, and the microphone felt like a beacon calling to her. Emma could see a shift in Amy's demeanor, an urge to embrace whatever was brewing inside her. I know I just shared my story, Amy began, her voice even more resolute than before. But I realize now that I want to tell you all something else too. Something that has been a part of me, something I've kept hidden, but I can't anymore. Emma squinted through the light, desperate to understand. What was Amy about to reveal? The audience was silent, captivated by her honesty, and Emma felt the weight of every heartbeat echoing in the room. There's a part of me that has always loved performing. But for too long, I let fear and doubt hold me back. Amy paused, taking a moment to look at those gathered before her. I've been struggling with who I am, torn between the person I want to be and the one I thought I should be. Until tonight, I felt like an imposter. But her voice wavered with emotion. I realized that I don't want to hide anymore. Not from you, and especially not from myself. A gasp rippled through the audience. Emma's breath caught in her throat. Amy's bravery was monumental, and she could feel the support rising, tangible and vibrant. I've decided to take my passion for the stage seriously, to pursue drama and music beyond this group, Amy declared, tears shimmering in her eyes. And I hope you can all be there as I chase this dream. The room erupted in cheers, applause washing over Amy like a wave. Emma stood frozen, overwhelmed by a rush of pride and admiration. She had witnessed the spark of transformation within her friend, and it bloomed beautifully, capturing everyone's hearts. Zach was beaming, a smile lighting up his face as he joined in the applause, but Emma's thoughts were racing. What did this mean for their group? What other truths were still veiled behind the laughter and applause? As the final act of the night began to form on stage, Emma felt her own heart start to race, mirroring the energy around her. Could chasing dreams mean reevaluating their own paths together? The conclusion of this journey was not far. The adventure was only beginning. When the last note finally rang out, leaving a resonant silence in the air, Emma caught Amy's gaze. There was a question lingering there, electric with possibility. What would it mean to support Amy's new journey, and more importantly, what dreams were still waiting for Emma to chase? As the cheers faded, the stage lights dimmed, casting a warm glow over the audience. Emma's heart brimmed with pride for Amy, yet a shadow of doubt loomed over her. The night was meant to celebrate the group's achievements, but now it felt like a pivotal moment. Amy's revelation had shifted something profound. The spotlight wasn't just on her friend anymore. It was on all of them. Emma's gaze wandered, searching for familiar faces in the crowd. There was Mia. Her eyes sparkled with admiration, maybe even envy. Chris sat with arms crossed, his brows furrowed in thought. What did that mean for their dynamic? They had all come so far together, yet Amy's brave step forward made Emma question her own journey. Zach approached Emma, his kindness radiating as he flashed her a smile. Did you see her? She was incredible. His excitement was infectious, but Emma couldn't mirror his enthusiasm completely. Yeah, she was, Emma replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Hey, what's up? Zach noticed her subdued energy. You good? Emma looked into his sincere eyes. I don't know. I feel like everything is changing, and I'm not sure where I fit in anymore. The confession hung in the air, and for a moment, Emma thought she might disappear into the ground. Zach nodded, understanding washing over his face. It's scary. His tone softened. But maybe change isn't a bad thing? Maybe it can help us grow. He leaned closer, and she could sense his unwavering support. You've got dreams too, don't you? Emma bit her lip, grappling with her emotions. Dreams? She had stifled them for so long. A whisper of an ambition flickered in her heart, writing. It shaped her time in the background, but she had let it fade, convinced it wouldn't matter. Yet, with Amy's newfound courage, it suddenly felt like a seed sprouting. Before she could reply, Amy returned to them, still glowing from her performance. Thank you for cheering me on. She grinned, pulling Emma into a quick hug. You know how much this means to me. Emma felt the warmth of that embrace, but it also reminded her of the gap forming between them. Amy, you're going to chase this dream now. It's big. I'm scared, Amy admitted, her playful smile faltering. But I know this feels right and I need you guys with me. Emma admired her friend's vulnerability. We'll always be your fans, she said, wishing her own voice held the same strength. But are we ready for this? Just then, Chris joined them, cutting through the moment's intimacy with a breathless burst of enthusiasm. Did we just witness a legend being born? Because I'm getting chills. People, Amy, you're going to be famous. The laughter that followed broke the tension, yet Emma's heart was still heavy. What would happen now? With one bold step from Amy, the landscape of their friendships was on the brink of transformation. That night wrapped around them like a warm blanket, but Emma couldn't shake the icy finger of doubt that skated down her spine. Support was one thing. Chasing her own dreams felt monumental. Might she have the courage to embrace that spark inside? As they all began to gather their things, a sudden voice called out from the back of the auditorium, "Hey, what about the after-party? Let us celebrate." Emma glanced at Amy, both exhilarated and terrified by the unfolding possibilities. Could this be the boost she needed to rekindle her own dreams? As the friends began to move towards the exit, Emma felt a new resolve flicker within her. What if she opened herself up to change? What if she dared to write again? Just then, an unexpected figure appeared at the door, stepping into the light. Emma's breath hitched as a wave of recognition rushed over her. It was someone from her past, a person she thought was long gone. Someone who once sparked her passion for writing. Could this encounter change everything? Emma's heart raced as the figure stepped forward, illuminated under the soft glow of the stage lights. It was Lisa, her high school English teacher. The one who had pushed Emma to explore her writing, the one who had believed in her more than she believed in herself. Their eyes locked, and Emma felt a tidal wave of emotions. Joy, nostalgia, and a dash of trepidation rushed through her. "Emma!" Lisa exclaimed, her voice warm and melodic, the kind that instantly made you feel at home. "I can't believe it. I heard about the performance tonight. You all were fantastic." It took Emma a moment to respond, as the flood of memories washed over her. "Thank you. It's been a journey." Emma's words felt shaky, and she could sense her friends hovering nearby, curiosity evident in their gazes. Lisa approached slowly, reading the atmosphere. "And what about you, Emma? Are you still writing?" The question hit Emma like a jolt. She felt the weight of Lisa's hope in her voice, and suddenly, it felt like the entire room shifted. I haven't really. Life got busy," Emma confessed, her cheeks flushing as she glanced at Amy and the others. Lisa smiled gently, that knowing smile that had encouraged Emma countless times before. "Life can get in the way, but your voice matters. You have stories to tell, don't forget that." Those words hung in the air, heavy and bright at the same time. Emma felt a stirring inside her, a flicker of that long dormant passion igniting. "I always thought writing was just a hobby," she started, hesitantly. "A hobby?" Lisa chuckled softly. "No, it's a part of who you are. You shouldn't let fear hold you back." Emma could see the warmth in her eyes, genuine and sincere, pulling Emma into a space that felt safe yet challenging. As the conversation unfolded, Emma felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. Lisa's presence was a catalyst, awakening something deep inside her that had been buried for far too long. It was a reminder that her dreams didn't disappear. They had just been waiting for a spark. Chris, catching the tail end of their conversation, chimed in with a smirk. "Emma, what are you waiting for? An official invitation to write your bestseller?" The laughter that followed lightened the moment, but Emma couldn't shake the weight of Lisa's words. What if she took that leap? What if she found the courage Amy had shown tonight? The thought was thrilling and terrifying all at once. Zach nudged Emma playfully. "Come on, Em. Let us celebrate. The after-party is waiting for us, and you can start worrying about your future bestseller later." Everyone began to move toward the exit, but Emma hesitated, looking back at Lisa. "I don't overthink it. Enjoy tonight, and don't forget what we talked about," Lisa said, her voice encouraging but firm. "You're capable of so much more than you know." With a final smile, Lisa stepped back, allowing Emma to join her friends. The warmth of her teacher's words wrapped around her like a comforting blanket. As they headed out, laughter filled the air, and Emma felt like she was standing on the brink of something new. The after-party buzzed with energy, and deep inside, she craved the freedom to explore her own aspirations. But just as they reached the threshold, her phone buzzed insistently in her pocket. Emma pulled it out, shocked to see a message from an unfamiliar number. "I know what you're capable of. Meet me tomorrow?" Her heart raced again. Who was this person? Emma's mind spun with possibilities. Yet, the spark ignited inside her felt undeniable. Was this the sign she had been waiting for? Could this be the moment everything changed? The next day, Emma awoke to the sound of birds chirping outside her window. It felt like the world was buzzing with possibilities. She stared at her phone, still in disbelief over the mysterious message. The invitation felt almost too good to be true, like a doorway to a dream she had kept tucked away for too long. As the hours passed, a mix of anticipation and nerves coursed through her veins. The weight of her dreams, once so heavy, now felt lighter as excitement flickered beneath the surface. She grabbed her notebook and a pen, letting the familiar grip invigorate her. Words began to flow onto the page, simple scribbles, thoughts swirling around blooming ideas. Emma could feel the pulse of her passion awakening. After school, the moment arrived. Standing in front of the cafe where they agreed to meet, Emma's mind raced. The door swung open, and in stepped Lisa, her radiant smile brightening the gray afternoon. "I'm so glad to see you," she said, enveloping Emma in a warm hug. Emma returned the gesture, her spirits lifting with each shared heartbeat. "Do you really believe I can do this?" Emma asked, her voice laced with vulnerability as they settled into a cozy corner. "Absolutely," Lisa replied, sincerity shining in her eyes. "Your voice matters, Emma, and maybe your story could inspire others just like the talent show did. Imagine sharing your heart in words that resonate with people." The encouragement stirred something deep in Emma, the realization that her stories could connect not just with friends, but with an audience beyond Oak Ridge. They spent the afternoon talking about ideas and themes, the weight of fear dissipating with each word exchanged. Emma began to share the fragments she had tucked away, moments that shaped her life, snippets crafted in the corners of her mind. With Lisa's guiding questions, Emma saw how those fragments could form something profound. "Let us start writing together," Lisa suggested, her enthusiastic energy infectious. "You don't have to go it alone. Consider me your writing partner." Emma felt as if she had found a lifeline. "I'd love that," she replied, imagining all the ideas that could blossom into something real. As they wrapped up their session, Emma felt lighter, more whole. It was as though she had taken the first step onto a path she had been too afraid to tread before. They finalized plans to meet regularly, and Emma couldn't wait to dive deeper into this unexplored adventure. Back at home, Emma scanned her room, her gaze landing on the award from the talent show, with its cold metal glittering under the lamplight. Yet, it wasn't just the award that sparkled. It was the shift that had ignited within her. She had come to understand that her journey wasn't simply about one show or one act. It was about cultivating connections and bravely stepping into the unknown. Weeks passed, the seasons shifting. Emma honed her writing and grew in confidence. With each chapter she crafted, the tangled webs of doubt unraveled. On the night of the talent show reunion, the warmth of nostalgia filled the air. Friends filled the small cafe, sharing stories and laughter, celebrating their journey together. Emma stood off to the side, catching glimpses of support and camaraderie blooming among her peers. It felt magical, unexpected moments of joy surfacing with every connection. Then Amy spotted her, gliding over with grace, her eyes gleaming. "Hey, Emma, can you come join us?" As Emma approached the group, she felt the camaraderie envelop her like a familiar embrace. They discussed old memories and future hopes, their hearts intertwining in the shared light of possibility. "Hey, everyone." Amy stood up, her infectious smile radiating. "I have something to announce. I've been accepted into a prestigious drama school." The cafe erupted in cheers, the realization of dreams unfolding before their eyes sent waves of jubilation into the air. As Emma felt the applause resound around her, She could not help but feel a shift within herself, a promise that her own journey was just beginning. Amy's triumphant moment reminded Emma that each of them could embrace their aspirations, bound together by newfound support. "Emma, you're going to write the next bestseller, right?" Zach teased, nudging her as the celebrations continued. "And I might just take one of your stories for inspiration." Emma laughed, yet in her heart, she felt the familiar flicker of excitement. The party buzzed with joy, but within Emma, the spark of a resolution had ignited. She was ready to step fully into her stories, alongside her friends. As they laughed and shared, she pondered how her journey had evolved and the transformative moments that had brought them all together. In that cozy cafe, under the warm lights, Emma understood something powerful. Each experience woven through their stories, each struggle, each victory resonated in a way that created connections deeper than she could have imagined. It wasn't just about pursuing dreams. It was about believing in each other, uplifting each other, and crafting a narrative that intertwined their lives, filled with hope and illuminated by shared laughter. This was the essence of their story, alive and vibrant as the night grew late and the celebration continued. Emma took a breath, her heart full. There would be hurdles ahead, but she was no longer afraid. She was ready for the adventure. The light of hope shone brightly, guiding her to embrace the lives they were creating, both on and off the stage. "Let us write the next chapter together," Emma whispered to herself, knowing she had finally found her voice. And in the shared joy of those gathered around her, she also felt the sweet promise of change, knowing their story was far from over. Before the night ended, she pressed send on a heartfelt message to the group, inviting them to share their thoughts and dreams in a new writing project where every voice could echo like music into the world. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and share your love for this journey. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending, because we want to hear from you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand how powerful it is to support this channel through your actions.